new
Coca-Cola unveiled the latest technological wonder of a billboard tonight.
Coke, as you say, calls it the world's most technologically advanced sign, and let me show you a live picture.
A new addition to Times Square shimmers with more than 2.5 million lights. With the most technically advanced billboard to date. Its makers say
there's a party in Times Square tonight, and Sade Badenois is there for us. Sade?
Bill, there certainly is a party going on here in Times Square. There were thousands of people here to look at this new billboard here in Times Square. It's been an exciting night for onlookers.
I'm going to turn around and see it light up tonight, and it's going to be wonderful. And it's part of America, if you think about it. There's nothing more American than Coca-Cola, nothing more American than Times Square.
It's different from the rest of the signs, how it's broken up. It's very multi-dimensional. Other signs are just so flat. This sign is really good. I like it.
The clarity of it, and you might say the uniqueness of the design, it just symbolizes Times Square.
Now, right now, if you take a look behind me, you can see the sign there. It looks like there's Coca-Cola workers getting ready up until the last minute.
Yeah, we waved and he waved back. We thought it was actually a movie and it was real people up there.
It's like a giant puzzle. And, it was very difficult and very, crazy to try to create content on all those little pieces.
It was really great seeing that and seeing what it is now. It's just, the colors are amazing and it really lights up this entire street.
This was a showstopper. People stopping up and down Broadway and 7th Avenue wanting to know what was going on.
Coca-Cola! Coca-Cola! Coca-Cola!
And of course, it's those giant marketers, Coca-Cola, making it happen and changing the face of Times Square.
1923, atop a hotel demolished long ago, Coca-Cola using a billboard for the same reason it does today, to get attention from hurried consumers. Here's a Coke sign in 1932, and 34 years later in '66. In today's high-tech world, those who think about the content of the message find they have to push past traditional boundaries repeatedly. Don Blanton is president of a firm called the Wow Factor, and much of what you see on the new Coke sign came from his brain.
Content engineering is a phrase that I coined because back in the old days when you would buy a sign, you bought it from the artisans or the people who made the sign. It means to create the content beforehand and then find a sign or a manufacturer that can deliver that content through the hardware and the electronics.
The content selection for the Coca-Cola Communication Portal was based on a very thorough analysis of the brightest, most innovative content providers in the country. The end selection, the wow factor. The future of outdoor advertising is a very bright one, and it's really based on the integration of content and new technologies. That's really going to differentiate the space for marketers throughout the world.
When Coca-Cola hired us to produce the content, we sat down with them and we analyzed the brand and we created a unique fingerprint. Content is everything. Content is king. When you go to a movie, you think about the content. It's the storyline. It's the emotion that that content evokes for you. The content needs to convey the brand or the message or the advertising point. I say content engineering is creating content that you don't think about the wires or the LEDs. You walk away with the brand or the message. Well, as you look at the sign back here, you see actual physical gaps in the LED contours, which makes it look like a big giant puzzle piece. So that presents a challenge with putting video up on the screen so that lines don't appear in people's faces and things like that. So we had to take into consideration the unique puzzle pieces, and when you see, for example, like Surfer Girl on there, we took advantage of the curvature of the sign to make it look like she's actually surfing inside of the sign. The idea of a live event came into being because the sign was unusual. It was a sculpture. It was a piece of art. And I didn't want to just cover up the piece of art with a piece of cloth and say, here's your ribbon cutting, yet another sign in Times Square. But I thought we'd have a better chance of really creating that Times Square kind of feeling in a city unlike any other. So I thought of coming up with a unveiling or an electronic unveiling that didn't hide the sign. Let's not hide it. Let's put it out in plain view because it's a unique shape, and let's put some construction workers in it to make it look like they're building the sign. And that's my unveiling. When you build a Coca-Cola Red Lounge 15, 18 feet in the air in one of the most exciting spots in the world, you are creating magic. You are creating an environment, a Coca-Cola environment.
The lighting on the launch device is fiber optic, and for about 16 seconds it starts to build up and build up and build up and build up. There's a CO2 blast at the top of that launch device, which raises our odds up to the video.
Pyro effects that we're doing, when we go out of time machine into the fireball, you're going to see red bursts of fireballs come out from the side of the machine. You're going to see gold sizzle. You actually hear sizzling as the gold sizzles down on you. At the same time, you hear Don's original music score, which is sort of, it's the real thing. Boom. And then C2, and then your finale, which is boom, 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 boom.
I think I go run this through a little bit.
My favorite story is we were walking down the sidewalk, coming up with the idea right behind us. We were thinking, how do you do a launch of a new sign in Times Square and do something different?
We couldn't think of anything. We kept coming up with levers and things and buttons and light switches, and all of a sudden Jeff goes, you know what? This sign looks like a puzzle. And I said, yeah, it's puzzles. Charlie goes, yeah, and it's missing pieces. And I said, yeah, it's missing a piece. So the activator is actually a piece of the puzzle that's missing, and they put it in to activate the sign.
Tying the sign in to create a whole multimedia environmental experience in Times Square, you're taking sign, video, sound, special effects, the living room environment, putting it all together into one package creates a unique environment that's never been done in Times Square before. And we have all the local stations, we have the networks here, we got the cable channels for the unveiling of a new sign. And the mayor!
We were very lucky that Coca-Cola Strategic Events and PR was able to invite the mayor in order to complete the connection between the brand and the city of New York. We also needed to capitalize on two key events in a video tribute: the 100th anniversary of Times Square and the 100th anniversary of Coca-Cola bottling in New York. This tribute would also play every hour after the live event launch until the end of the year, which maximized the production value. Our video tribute became a time machine that takes us on a positive journey through 100 years of history. To complete the emotional connection between the brand and the imagery, our sign launch needed a custom soundtrack which captured the flavor of each decade along with famous Coca-Cola jingles. To enhance the show, we added some sound effects, animation, and pyrotechnics. And then to create the illusion of time travel, we revealed the previous Coke sign to tease the audience, take them on a journey to 1904 and back again through time to present day, which now unveils the new Coca-Cola sign in Times Square, which is the most famous icon in the world.